In January of the year 2000, two companies shook hands and announced the biggest merger in the history of American business. Wall Street called it a revolution. Analysts called it genius. The press called it the deal that would define the 21st century. It was the single biggest annual loss ever recorded by any company in American history, and someone let it happen. I'm going to show you exactly how this disaster was engineered, who got rich while everyone else got destroyed, and what every investor, entrepreneur, and dealmaker needs to learn from the worst merger in corporate history. Stay until the end, because I'm going to show you the exact red flags that predicted this collapse and how to spot them in any deal today. To understand how this deal went so wrong, you have to understand what each company actually was. AOL, America Online, was the internet's first superstar. In the 1990s, they mailed over 1 billion, yes, billion, free trial CDs to American households. At its peak, AOL had 30 million subscribers and controlled nearly half of all US internet traffic. They were the gateway to the internet for an entire generation. Their stock price had exploded. By 1999, AOL's market cap hit $163 billion. For context, that was more than Disney, Ford, and Boeing combined. But here's the thing Wall Street didn't want to talk about. AOL's business was dying. Broadband internet was coming. Cable and DSL were replacing dial-up. AOL's entire model, charging $21.95 a month for slow internet access through a CD, was about to become obsolete. AOL's leadership knew this. So they did what any cornered Wall Street predator does. They went hunting. Time Warner was a real business, a massive, profitable, century-old media empire. HBO was printing money. CNN was the world's most watched news network. Warner Bros. Had been making blockbusters for 80 years. This was not a startup. This was an institution, an AOL. A company essentially built on borrowed time, walked up to Time Warner and said, "We're going to buy you," using stock. January 10th, 2000. Steve Case, AOL's CEO, and Jerry Levin, Time Warner's CEO, stood before the world and announced a $350 billion merger, the largest in history. Here's how the deal worked, and pay close attention, because this is where the scam begins. AOL didn't use cash, they used stock. AOL stock was trading at astronomical valuations built on dot-com bubble hype, not real earnings. By using their inflated stock as currency, AOL was essentially trading monopoly money for real assets. They exchanged overvalued internet stock for HBO, for CNN, for Batman, for decades of real intellectual property and real cash flow. So why did Time Warner agree? Jerry Levin was obsessed with the internet. He genuinely believed AOL would carry Time Warner's content into a digital future. His advisors warned him. His board had doubts. He pushed it through anyway. Ted Turner, Time Warner's largest individual shareholder, later said it was the worst mistake of his life. He lost approximately $8 billion of personal wealth. The ink was barely dry before everything unraveled. 2 months after the announcement, the dot-com bubble burst. AOL's stock, the currency they'd used to buy Time Warner, collapsed. The deal's value evaporated almost instantly. Then came the culture war inside the company. AOL was a scrappy internet startup, fast, aggressive, growth at all costs. Time Warner was an old-school media institution, methodical, creative, relationship-driven. These two organizations despised each other. AOL executives were reportedly arrogant and condescending to Time Warner veterans. Time Warner talent felt colonized. Key executives fled. Integration never happened. The synergies that justified the deal, cross-selling AOL Internet access through Time Warner's cable network, never materialized. In 2002, AOL Time Warner reported a $99 billion net loss, the largest annual corporate loss in American history. The company's stock had lost 90% of its value from its merger peak. Steve Case resigned. Jerry Levin resigned. The AOL name was quietly erased. By 2009, Time Warner spun AOL off entirely. They sold it for $3.4 billion. They bought it for $165 billion. That's a 98% loss. Now here's where we turn this disaster into your advantage. Every one of these warning signs was visible before the deal closed. If you learn to spot these, you'll be a better investor, a smarter entrepreneur, and you'll never be the person on the wrong side of a bad deal. Red flag number 1. The buyer was using inflated stock as currency. When a company's stock is disconnected from real earnings and they use it to buy real assets, be very suspicious. Always ask, is this buyer using cash or stock? And is that stock fairly valued? Red flag number 2. The deal was justified by synergies nobody could define. In M&A, vague synergy language often means we can't explain this mathematically, but trust us. Real synergies are specific, measurable, and achievable. Red flag number 3. One CEO was running from a dying business model. AOL's urgency wasn't ambition, it was desperation. In any negotiation, always ask, why does the other side need this deal so badly? Red flag number 4. Cultural due diligence was ignored. Culture clash is one of the top 3 reasons M&A deals fail. Human capital and cultural compatibility must be evaluated, not just financials. Red flag number 5. The board was steamrolled. When leadership becomes emotionally attached to a deal's completion over its soundness, run. AOL Time Warner's ghost haunts every mega deal that comes after it. When AT&T bought Time Warner in 2018 for $85 billion and then spun it off 4 years later at a massive loss, analysts called it the new AOL Time Warner. The same red flags, the same outcome. The Harvard Business Review estimates that between 70 and 90% of all mergers and acquisitions fail to create shareholder value. 70 to 90%. These aren't fringe deals. These are billion-dollar transactions executed by the smartest, highest-paid people in finance. The deals that win share common traits: disciplined valuation, real strategic fit, cultural alignment, conservative use of leverage, and leadership that's willing to walk away. Warren Buffett has walked away from more deals than he's done. That discipline is why Berkshire Hathaway exists. In a future video, I'm going to show you exactly how Buffett evaluates acquisitions and why his checklist would have killed the AOL Time Warner deal on day 1. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that.